is a day of remembrance of deceased veterans as well as the veterans who have served for our country. We need to celebrate and give thanks to all veterans. It is a celebration of honor of America's veterans for their service and willingness to sacrifice for the common good. Veterans Day was not always a day to celebrate for all veterans, however. This holiday has some interesting background as far as how it came to be and how the holiday has evolved over the course of a century. We will look at the date, November 11th, and see why it is so significant, when Veterans Day became a legally recognized holiday, and review the history of how the holiday has been celebrated. First, let's look at why November 11th was such a significant day and chosen for the day of celebration. Why is the date November 11th so significant? World War I, also known as the Great War, was officially ended when the Treaty of Versailles was signed in 1919 in the Palace of Versailles in France. However, the war actually ended 7 months prior when an armistice between the Allied nations and Germany went into effect on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of the year. For that reason, November 11th of 1918 is generally regarded as the end of World War I, which was thought to be the end to all wars. However, obviously, this was not true, considering World War II was short to follow after. Although the date was chosen as a day to celebrate, it was not when the holiday became legally recognized or celebrated. It was 20 years later before a holiday was established to be Veterans Day. An act approved in 1938 made the day the 11th of November each year a legal holiday. That was the day to be dedicated to the cause of world peace and to be thereafter celebrated and known as Armistice Day. Armistice Day was primarily a day set aside just to honor veterans from World War I. But after World War II had required the greatest mobilization of our nation's army in history, they decided that it should be named Veterans Day. The word armistice was more just for World War I, so they inserted in its place the word veterans. On June 1st, in 1954, November 11th became a day to honor America's veterans of all wars, instead of just the ones from World War I. At this point, Veterans Day was official and was to be celebrated by all. Dwight Eisenhower said, "In order to ensure the proper widespread and observance of this anniversary, all veterans organizations, and the entire citizenry will wish to join hands for a common purpose. This purpose was celebrating and remembering those who have served for our country." Celebrating began with parades, ending the workday at 11, considering at 11 a.m. was the time that the fighting of the Great War had actually ceased, and the armistice was drawn between the two countries. The Uniform Holiday Bill was signed in 1968 and was intended to ensure that celebration of the following national holidays: Washington's birthday, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and Columbus Day. This would allow the federal workers to take the 3-day weekend for Veterans Day. Though evolution, Veterans Day became a day of parades, some memorials at the VFW clubs, and some visit their local cemetery. It should be celebrated with reverence. Veterans Day is observed with parades, speeches, flowers placed on memorials and military graves. In today's world, Veterans Day is often overlooked, or the holiday where you have a cookout and get family together, and that's it. It's just slightly overlooked in today's world. You can see Veterans Day has a unique history of how it came to be and the changes that it has went through. Let's review what we've learned about this often overlooked holiday. We know that November 11th was the day chosen for this holiday because November 11th in 1918, an armistice was established between Germany and the Allied nations. We now know that the holiday became legally recognized in 1938, but was known as an Armistice Day, until 1954, when it became a holiday to thank all veterans, not just the veterans of World War I. We also know the way the holiday is celebrated has changed, but the only thing that hasn't changed, that remains the same, is that it is a day to show gratitude to the people who have sacrificed for all of us. The holiday has evolved well over the past century. Its unique characteristics, such as the changing of the name and the difference of how it has been celebrated in today's world and in the past, make it a more interesting holiday. Think of those who have served and those who have the abilities that provide you, or what abilities that provide you and your family with. Be thankful for the veterans. It's a day of celebration to honor our veterans for their acts and for the love of their country and the willingness to serve and sacrifice for the common good of their nation. Thank you.